أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا وإمامنا محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم رب زدني علما نافعا وعملا صالحا. اللهم رب زدني علما نافعا وعملا صالحا. اللهم رب زدني علما نافعا وعملا صالحا. اللهم ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. سبحان الله بحمده سبحان الله العظيم. سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. لا إله إلا الله ولا نعبد إلا إياه مخلصين له الدين ولو كره الكافرون. لا إله إلا الله ولا نعبد إلا إياه مخلصين له الدين ولو كره المشركون. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا. رضينا بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا. سبوح قدوس ربنا ورب الملائكة والروح. سبوح قدوس ربنا ورب الملائكة والروح. سبوح قدوس ربنا ورب الملائكة والروح. سبحان الله بحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله بحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله بحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله بحمده سبحان الله العظيم. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم. سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Okay, this topic I'm going to try to make it engaging as possible. Okay, I'm not going to give you a lecture like last time on the marriage issue. So inshallah, this one I'm going to try to make it more engaging because it's a topic that most, if not all, are confused about. Yeah. And when it comes to practical implementation of it, practicality of it, most do not have sort of subconscious principle by which they can enact in an appropriate manner. Yeah, most misplace it. And thereby, inshallah, I'll try to make it as engaging as possible to break those subconscious sort of notions or principles or mindsets or understandings or even instructions that you may have which are not based on realities. Yeah? So inshallah, I'm going to make it engaging as possible. So first question I will ask you is that how many of you think culture and Islam clash? Raise your hands. Whoa. Can raise your hands be more higher? Wow. That's the majority, I guess, right? Okay, how many of you think that Islam, or believe, let me go further, how many of you believe Islam and culture compete with one another? Not clash, but compete. Okay, you might not understand the question. No problem. Okay, how many of you think or believe Islam and culture complements one another? Okay, you're the minority. The majority wins. It's democracy, right? Okay, let me ask you another question. How many are English Anglo-Saxons here? Raise your hands. So you can trace your lineage back to English people, Anglo-Saxons. Huh? Anyone? Raise your hands. Okay, no, that's good. No, it's good because it's going to prove my point. It's good because it's going to prove my point. That's why it's good. Yeah. Okay. How many are from Asian background? Raise your hands. Wow. Impressive. You all don't look Asians, to be honest. MashaAllah, you look Arabs. Okay, how many of you are from Arab background? Wow, you're minority. SubhanAllah. Okay. Okay, this is interesting. So I thought most of the backgrounds are from Arab. So this is interesting. Asian. Okay, how many of you here then are from India? Okay. How many of you are here from Pakistan? Okay. Close. How many of you are from here, Bangladesh? Oh my Allah. Okay. So I'm talking to my ethnicity. Okay. Okay, one other question before I move on. How many of you have parents not from the same ethnic background? Raise your hands. So your mom is from Bangladesh, your dad is from Africa, something like that. So you're a minority. Okay. It's good. Okay, one more question. How many of you can speak the language of your parents? Raise your hands. You sure about that, yeah? You can communicate with your parents fluently. Raise your hands. You sure about that? You don't say kita korai. Balani. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, how many of you can speak your mother language or your parents' language equal to English? So the way you can speak English, that's how you can speak your Arabic language, your Bengali language, or your Urdu language. Raise your hands, please. So I know who I'm talking to. I know the audience. Yeah. So not much. Okay. How many will you say that your first language is your mother language? Okay. Not bad. Okay, that's good. That's good. Last question. How many of you dress like your parents? Okay, one final question. How many of you eat like your parents? Okay. Okay. In all of those questions, how many of you did not put your hands up? Put your hands up. All of those questions, none of them you put your hands up. Put your hands up. Look around, brothers and sisters. One more time, I'm going to ask this question. In all of those questions, how many of you did not put your hands up? Put your hands up now. Look around. There's no one putting their hands up. Can you see the point I'm trying to make here? Or no? Yes or no? Okay, put your hands up if you know what the point I'm trying to make. Come, put your hands up. No? Or put your hands up if you think that you don't know what I'm trying to point out here. Wow. I thought this was a university. Okay. We have a human crisis then, you know. SubhanAllah. Okay. Okay, one more question. Are you a human first or are you a Muslim first? Okay, who thinks, okay. Who thinks you're a human first? Raise your hands. Ajib, subhanAllah. Okay, one more time. The question is, who thinks you're human first? Raise your hands. Well done.
Did you make mistakes?
No, you're human. You're not an angel, you're not a jinn, you're not Iblis. You're a human. Okay, how many think you're a Muslim first and then you're a human? Wow. Wow. I think I have to become a professor here, I know that. Honest. Okay. It's a lot to go through then. Wow. Okay. How many of you then think you're British first and then your whatever ethnic background you're from? So you're British, meaning you're English. Yeah? Okay, so majority they're not. Okay, that's good. Okay, these questions I'm asking, my brothers and sisters, is because when you ask these questions, you actually begin to find who you really are. You begin to find your identity of who you really are. And to be honest, the way you raised your hands, it's not even clear to me who you really are. But inshallah, after this sort of, I won't call it lecture, but maybe engaging dialogue talk, and with some instructions from myself, hopefully you'll become more clear who you are, or at least what you need to have at your subconscious level in order to sort of, in an appropriate manner, correct manner, to flow with life. First and foremost, my brothers and sisters, you are a human. Allah says, Ya ayyuhan nas, inna khalaqnakum. What does he say first? Ya ayyuhan nas, all mankind. So first and foremost, you're what? You are a human. What does that mean? I.e., you are not obviously Allah. You are not also what? An angel. You are not also what? Jinns. You are not also animals. You are not mountains. You are not trees. You are not birds. You are not fish, and the list goes on. Yeah? So you're a human. Can you do anything about that? No? Yes? Too loud. So first you're a human. This is vital for you to realize. It's fine. It's fine. This is vital for you to realize. Why? Because every other understanding you will have, or the actions and reactions you'll have, or interactions you'll have, will be based on this fundamental reality of who you are as a human. If you get that wrong, if you get that sort of in your mind, subconscious mind more than anything, if you get that wrong, and you're confused whether you're human first or you're Muslim first, then the rest will become very, very problematic and rigid. So you're first a human before you are a Muslim. Because a Muslim consciously, right, with his awareness or with her awareness, they embrace Islam. So before they embrace Islam, what were they? They were human beings. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't include a person who is mad, doesn't include him within a Muslim unless he was a Muslim or he becomes a Muslim, meaning he doesn't have an intellect to be conscious for him to or her to become a Muslim. If someone's insane, you can come in, brothers, you can come in, you can sit on the floor because you came late, no problem. There's some chairs. There's some chairs over there. There's some seats. Brothers, help them out by moving so they don't have to step over yourselves. Okay, so similarly, the one who dies without hearing the news of Islam, he dies as a human. So he lives as a human, he dies as a human, but he doesn't get the information, knowledge of Islam, and he dies. On the Qiyamah day, he will be tried, he will be tested. in order for him to then embrace it consciously, willingly, in a free manner. So you know, by birth, you're not a Muslim. By birth, you're on the fitrah. Fitrah simply facilitates for you to embrace Islam. It facilitates, or it sort of acknowledges the realities and facts of matters. Not necessarily by default it necessitates belief. It doesn't. So first and foremost, you're a human before you're a Muslim. This is something you need to be very, very clear in your heart and your minds. If that is not clear in your heart and your minds, you'll struggle with the rest of your lives. So first you're a human, and then you're a Muslim. How do you become Muslim? You consciously affirm what you need to affirm, and you reject whatever you need to reject and negate. That's what you do. You embrace it. As for the issue of race and ethnicity and so forth, these are part of what? A Muslim or part of being a human? Okay, who thinks it's part of being a Muslim? Raise your hands. It's part of being a what? Human. So all the questions are asked, okay? Ask you about the food question, ask you about the language question, ask you about the dress code question, what do you wear, ask you about your parents, where they're from. All of that is to do with the human. It's for you, who you are as a human. It's got nothing to do who you are as what? Who you are as what?
Muslim.
Excellent. Is that clear? Is that clear, everyone? So once that is affirmed, then the notion, it's a notion, the notion you have Islam and culture clash, that in straight away is mitigated. Because what you're trying to say, in other words, Islam and human clash, Islam and race clash, Islam and language clash, Islam and food clash, Islam and clothes clash. They don't at all. Is that clear? Am I making sense? So, soon as you mitigate that notion, then the question that I asked second, which is, does Islam and culture compete, comes in. What does that mean? So, for example, you're a human and you want to attain the best of dunya in terms of dress, in terms of your food, in terms of your wives and your husbands, in terms of your children, in terms of education, in all of that. You want to attain the best of dunya. What does Islam say also? Islam says what? You attain also what? The best. Now the question is, can you as a human attain the best without being a Muslim? Or do you have to be a Muslim to attain the best of dunya? Which one? Okay, I said the question. Okay, let me rephrase the question. As a human, you're living in this world. Without Islam, as a collective group of people, can they attain collectively the best of this world together without Islam? In all aspects. Okay, let me make it more specific. In all aspects. All aspects. Huh? Yes or no? Yes? Who says yes? Raise your hands. If you say yes, the problem is then the problem then is there will be no fight with Islam, because you'll win. And if you say no, then there's what? There's a fight with Islam, because Islam has to win in all aspects. That means there's a what? No, a competition. I didn't say clash. There's a competition. There's what? Competition. So there's a competition between culture and Islam, yes. And there's a competition between, there's a complementation also between what? Culture and Islam. Those two are there, but there's no clash. There's no clash. What do I mean by that? So, for example, dress code. Yeah? You want to be dressed the best. Islam also says for you to what? Dress the best. Our dress code in every way will be the best. Islam wins there. How to eat? Islam says eat the best, eat luxuriously, eat comfortably, no problem. Culture says the same thing, but Islam comes and gives all aspects of it. So basically, don't eat until your food is up to here. Eat a third, leave a third, and then leave another third for water. So it gives you all aspects. It beats every other culture in that sense. Is that clear? So you have the fitra and the aql, the human, and then you have the language, the food, the dress code, all of that human that gives you the culture. Islam then comes and perfects it. It beautifies it. It complements you in every aspect of your life. It doesn't clash with you. It only clashes when you think it clashes. Then it clashes. Otherwise, it never clashes. It always makes something better. It gives you a borderline. It gives you directions. It gives you instructions. And then it lays you a path. And then it beautifies you to the highest of levels. I'll give you an example. I give the example of a dress code. I'll give you an example of eating. As soon as you're born, you want to eat, right? Now, when you have food or plates in front of you, which you like, the fitra and the aql tells you for you to grab that food and eat, right? Does the fitra and aql tell you which hand to use? It just says for you to grab and eat. The kid, the toddler, might take the left hand and put it in his mouth, which they do. Or they may take the right hand and they may put the food in the mouth. Yes or no? Yeah. So here, Islam says take what? Take right hand. Yeah. The culture, whichever the culture is, they may take the left hand or they may take what? The right hand, because of culture. But here Islam comes and then puts a guideline and makes it perfect, which is what? Take the right hand, say Bismillah, eat from what's close to you, and then go forward towards the middle part if there's other people sharing the food. If the other people are not sharing your food, then you can eat from anywhere, but finish the middle part right at the end. So it gives you this perfect guideline. I don't want to give the example, but the example shows how Islam did not even leave something that is not spoken about. Yeah, and the Yehudi, the Jewish people said this. They said that your messenger, your deen, taught even how to use the bathroom. So in the bathroom, it said not to use the what? To use what? And not to directly utilize your hands against the impurities. Right? So it gave a guideline. Now culture, it may don't give those guidelines, but Islam came and gave it even that. It said not to use your right hand, use the left hand. Don't with your left hand, even with the left hand, don't touch the actual impurities. Utilize something else as a barrier. Allahu Akbar. So there is no clash, my brothers and sisters. In the title, when they were about to give Islam versus culture, I said, no, change this, Islam and culture. So first and foremost, this notion you brothers and sisters have, or generally from me speaking to young brothers and sisters, and even a lot of people, they think there's a clash between Islam and culture. There is no clash between Islam and culture. Right? It only competes at a certain level, right? And most importantly, at all levels, it only complements it. It only complements it. One of the best ways to get rid of this understanding, right, is by traveling to your parents' lands. How many of you have traveled to your parents' lands? Raise your hands. Wow. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Okay, next question. How many of you stayed there for more than 2 years? There you go. That's the problem. You didn't go there to immerse yourself in the culture and become the you which matches the color, which matches the language, which matches the dress code, or which matches at least the food. Right? You stayed there as a holiday. You went there, you saw your aunties and your uncles and aunts and your cousins and relatives and hello, hi, hello, hi, hello, hi, and then khalas, you came back. It was a holiday for you. So my advice to you, that's the practical advice to you, if you really want to change and transform your mindset and understanding of how society works and how culture and Islam doesn't clash, is for you to go back home, wherever you're from, whether be it Somalia, be it Tanzania, be it Pakistan or Bangladesh, wherever you're from, my advice is go there and stay as long as possible. I'm not saying stay 2 years. I stayed 3 years. But I would say to you, stay as long as possible. Yeah? My next question is, how many of you know your lineages? How many of you know your lineage? So you can name your grandfather, your great-grandfather. Huh? You see the problem now? You see the problem now? Can you see the problem? That's why you have identity crisis. Yeah? So you really need to know where you're from, where you came from. Where your forefathers stayed, wherever they stayed, they did not stay in England. That you can guarantee. Your forefathers. They stayed for 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, maybe 600, maybe 1,000, maybe thousands of years. Your forefathers maybe stayed in Bangladesh or Pakistan or Somalia or Ethiopia or an Arab country like Egypt or Mauritania, yeah, or Yemen or Syria. I don't leave any country out, yeah? Or Saudi Arabia. Okay, so firstly, travel back home. That's my advice to you. Travel back home, stay there as long as possible. Yeah, learn the language, learn its history, right? And second, learn your lineage. Draw up a tree of your family tree, from both sides, not only from your dad's sides, and not only from your mom's sides. Sometimes we tend to be biased. La, both sides. Right? Find out from both sides, go as much as back as possible. And then, not only put down the names. If you just put down the names, it will be just name. Find out what they used to do, how they used to live. Right? Find out where their homes were. When I went back home last year, I found out, like my great 400, 500 years ago, whenever he came to Bangladesh from Yemen, I'm from Yemen. So he migrated all the way from, his name was Ali, right? Migrated all the way from Yemen to Bangladesh, and he settled in a place called Silla in Moinfur, and that place is like a huge place, mashallah, tabarakallah, and I traced back what this Ali, mashallah, tabarakallah, used to do. It might be legendary, might be not be true, it might be a myth, a lot of stuff people are saying about him, but the point is I went back as far as 500 years back. And what it does then, it begins for you to appreciate who you are, and you place yourself in a bigger picture of the globe and the humanity at large. It settles you, it comforts you, it strengthens you, it motivates you. It solidifies you like an anchor of who you are as a human. Your self-esteem, if you're lacking in self-esteem, if you're lacking in confidence, if you're lacking in competence in something, if you tried and you failed in many things that you want to yearn for, wallahi, learn your lineages. Learn the people of your background, right? Then you'll be so much more stronger, brave, and courageous than you are now. You'll be so much more confident. Yeah? So first thing is what? Go back home. Spend as much time as possible. Second is what? Drop your family tree lineage, right? And know about them. Don't just write the names down. Find out who they are, what they used to do, how they used to work, what was the education, and so forth and so on. Third, I want all of you to speak your mother tongue with your parents in a fluent manner. I want you to learn your language. Can you do that for me? How long will you take? How long? Most of you said you can speak fluently. How long will you? How long? I know you can't. You don't. You can't. Most of you, I don't think, can speak fluently. I don't believe that, right? I bet your mom will say, "Nah, she can't. She doesn't, or he doesn't." Right? Learn your mother language. You know, as a human, you can learn at least minimum. Do you know how many languages you can learn minimum as a human? Right? They say 4 to 6. I forget, for us, forget 4. I'm saying minimum 2. Right? Just learn 2 languages. English is English. Class, you've got it. Learn the other language. When I mean learn, I mean go out there, go to your teacher, go to your school, go to wherever and learn it. Learn the alphabets, learn how to write, learn how to read, and become fluent in it. Do that. Once you do that, you'll solve, guaranteed, I'll guarantee you this. You'll solve 90% of your family problems with your parents. I can guarantee you. You can come back to me after 1 year and say it didn't work, and I'll ask you the question, did you learn the language or not? 90% of your family problems with your parents will be solved if you can speak their language fluently. You know why? Because in your tone there will be adab and respect. You know me, to me kita horra, yeah, balas, and you know me like that. Broken and it's rubbish. It's all gibberish and rubbish, right? It's like you're slapping them on their face. Even if you're trying to be so humble, it's not coming out humble. It's not coming out respectful. Yeah? So you need to know how to speak, the tone, how to use, when to speak, the timing of it. Yeah? It's very important. So learn the language. Yeah? Okay, how many of you, one other question is very important. How many of you wear the clothes of your parents, so the clothes they wear? You wear the clothes, if it's longi, you wear longi. Like if it's sari, you wear sari. If it's kameez, you wear kameez. Wear the clothes out of pride. Raise your hands. MashaAllah. Out of pride. Yeah? How many of you do that? How many of you do that? But I say this to you, 5th. Was that 4th or 5th? I'll say, you need to wear the clothes they wear out with pride. And show them that. Mom, I'm proud of the sari that you bought me. Or kameez you bought me. Dad, I'm proud of the longi you bought me. Wear it. No, watch what happens. I'm just saying, watch what happens. It's a psychological problem we have. That will be, you know, then the father will say, no, he's my boy. The mother will say, "Ita amar beti hai." Yeah, she's my daughter. You know, so do these little things. Wear the clothes. How many of you can not only eat the food, how many of you can cook the food? Raise your hands. Or can you cook food better than them? Or it's all over the place. You know? Okay. Cook. The men, if you don't know how to cook, don't worry. But at least let me finish the sentence. Let me finish the sentence, brother. If you cannot cook, at least do this. Try to cook. Try to cook for them at least. Your mom especially. Try to cook for your mom at least. Like, if you're so busy, at least within 3 months, quarterly. Try to cook something for your mom. Mustard or must be done. Yeah? Fried fish or something simple. Cook for your mom. She will, and what she says after she tastes that food. Watch what she says. She will say, "Zem was always in the food. It was so nice." Yeah, she will not complain. What do you do? There's not so this too spicy or this. You complain, but what will she do? Like, Zem was always mashallah. She will appreciate that you cooked, you tried. What that will do is change the perspective of the unappreciatedness that you have towards your mom or towards your sisters. That, my brother at least he tried to cook. At least he tried. And that will take away the sadness and sorrows or griefs or the unappreciative sadness, the hurt feeling they had for a long time, and resentment that's piling up in the hearts and in the minds. Yeah? Try to cook. Watch what happens. Again, guarantee you, if you have any problems with your mom and you cooked one day out of the 3 months, it will go away. Guaranteed, I can guarantee you that. Wake up in the morning before mom wakes up, go in the kitchen and you move the hand a bit loudly. So she knows, okay, something's going wrong in the kitchen. She'll come and she'll see you. She'll either say, slap you and go away, or she'll either quietly leave the kitchen and let you be. Whichever way, make more noise. Do that. Allah, do that. It will solve problems. We are so dumb, yeah, to solve problems with our parents. Since we are dumb, we think we're so educated. We go to this university, we give some long names, Sometimes I can't even pronounce those long names. I just shorten it. But we give these long names. I go to this university. Why are you studying mechanical engineering? MashaAllah, tabarakallah. But when it comes to solving our family problems, I can't do it. You run away from it. The more you run away from it, the more it catches up on you eventually. Yeah? So please, my brothers and sisters, do these 5 things. So let me summarize it for you. Firstly, what? Travel back home. Stay as long as possible. Second is what? Lineage. Know your lineages. If you don't know your lineages, you'll not be settled. It will come back and bite you one way or the other. Most of the, I do counseling, right? Some of you might know, advice and consulting counseling. Most of the people that I deal with are people like yourselves or graduates, right? Who are looking for work or who've gone into work, who got married, who have children. They're breaking down. When they come to me, this is statistics I'm giving you because obviously now I've logged everything in. 99.9% of the people, they have what crisis, do you know? Identity crisis. 99.9% because of low esteem, self-esteem, all of that goes back to identity crisis. It's got nothing to do with my husband is abusive or my wife she can't cook. It's got nothing to do with any of that. It's got to do with identity crisis. They don't know who they are. They think it's so sad. For example, you or me, we identify ourselves because of so-and-so. So I'm caring because I'm caring towards so-and-so. Or I'm chatty because I'm chatty to so-and-so. Or I'm bubbly because I'm bubbly to so-and-so. So others define us, but we don't define ourselves. And that's the biggest problem I find. You have to define yourself who you are. And firstly, you define yourself by being a human. Second, by following that human lineage all the way to you. And human lineage embeds the land, the culture, the food, the clothes you wear, the language you speak, the way you look, the way you act, your personality is all part of your human nature. If you forget that, it's like a fish forgetting that it belongs to the ocean. Wherever you go, you'll struggle. You'll find it very difficult to breathe and live and survive even. And that's why I see most of the brothers and sisters are struggling with.
You know, I'm glad that I was born in Bangladesh. Wallahi. Because I don't have the identity crisis. If I was born here, maybe I would have had the identity crisis. But you have a choice. Even if you're born here, you've got a choice to go back and to live as if you were living like your parents. So go back, learn the lineages, learn the languages, dress like them for at least one day, right? Make them proud, cook for them at least for one day, and then see if you can solve your problems. After doing all of that, if you can't solve your problems, come to me and say, Abdul Mu'min, you don't have to call me Shaykh, but then you say, this guy's nonsense. Come back to me and say, whatever you said didn't work. It didn't solve my problems. I guarantee it will solve your problems, your family problems. Any questions you have, you can ask me and we can talk about it, inshallah. Any questions? I want to make it engaging. I don't want to just give you a lecture. Because this is to do with your subconscious mind. It's got nothing to do with information. It's got everything to do with your subconscious mind and how you have developed your subconscious mind. It's got everything to do with your psychology.
You know how you said you're human before Muslim?
Yeah.
But then why do people say when someone reverts, they say revert to Islam, not convert? So,
because the fitra and the aql, the fitra and the aql, they facilitate. The fitra and the aql, your share inner nature and your mind facilitates Islam. So originally, there was no kufr or shirk. Your fitra and aql doesn't take in kufr and shirk because it negates it by nature. Do you see? It's like the sun. You affirm the sun and the moon. Somebody else doesn't come and say, there is no sun, there is no moon. If they do say it, you do not take it in because you can see the sun and the moon. It's like that. So when it comes to the Allah Jalla wa Ala and Tawheed and the Quran and all of that general, especially the Tawheed part, about Allah being one only, just that part alone is part of your fitra and the aql. Yeah? And the environment and culture adds the kufr and the shirk in, the disbelief in. If you just take the environment and culture out, you will affirm the natural tawheed of it, of Allah Jalla wa Ala. Allah is one and only. He's a supreme being. He knows everything. All of this grand character of Jalla wa Ala, attributes of Jalla wa Ala, you will affirm it naturally. So that's why they say revert. You were at the original level, you knew what tawheed was. Something else came and then took that away from you. Or it sort of it was merged and it became cloudy or dirty or filthy and so forth. But originally it's there and it's always there. It never leaves you. It never leaves you. It's always there. It may become very minute and tiny. It can become very unrecognizable, but it's always there. So that's why they say we revert it because it's always there. Is that clear?
If you were to learn your language, what's the most productive way of doing so? Like, how could you do it?
Go to the country where your parents came from. So if they came from 2 different countries, go back to 2 different countries. And trust me, when you travel and when you learn the languages, you grow as a human. You grow your potential. A lot of times, I see, sadly, Muslims and even so-called developed countries and Westerners or the mass people, they fake themselves to make it. It's all fake. You know, there's a quote that says, fake it until you what? Make it. And that's so true. That's so true. Ha ha ha, he. It's all fake. It's all fake. Yeah? This and that, it's all fake. There's nothing substance. Yeah? Because when people go through troubles and they come to you, then you realize, subhanAllah, where is all he and how it went? It's all gone. It's all gone. So it's all fake. So you, it's like, you can even place it in your hands. That's how much who you are, really. You can't even put it on 2 hands. Right? That's why you need to become real. You need to really see how much substance you have, how much care you have, how much empathy you have, how much sympathy you have, how much sacrifice you have. How much principles are you really solidified in? Inner principles. How solid are they? How much can you donate? How much are you willing to donate? How selfless you are, or how selfish you are, or how greedy you are. All of these are substance. At the end of the day, the trials of Allah will come to them, not the fake ones, because Allah knows you don't have them. So He will not trial you with that. He'll trial you with what you don't have that you need to have. And He will trial you. So he will trial you with disabled children maybe. He will trial you with illnesses. He'll trial you with cancers. No one will be there to save you, protect you, and cure you. Doctors will say, oh, we'll operate or this and that. It will be you left alone. What will come there is you, the real you will come through. Either you break down and become depressed, or either you say, Alhamdulillah, this is a great, Allah is more merciful than my own mother. I witnessed it before and I will witness it now more. Your value will come through, your belief will come through, your principle will come through. Your empathy and sympathy for yourself more than anyone will come through. And that's who you really are. And that is great. If you can be great now, you'll be great forever. Yeah.
When you went back home for 3 years, what did you learn and how did you change from the first year to understand?
You see, one of the things, if you go back home, you can trace the footsteps. If you know yourselves, you can trace the footsteps of your own mother, where she was born. Right? Which house was she born? Right? Which school did she go? Because those schools are still there. You can trace those footsteps back. And when you trace those footsteps back, you not only grow, you bond with your mother and you slowly feel like your mother. You slowly feel like your mother. Same with your father. If you go to the village that he was born, and your grandmother or your uncle or someone says, this is exactly where he was born, how will you feel? Wow, in this bed he was born, or in this floor he was born. My dad. This is the school he went to. This is the path he walked. See, you will feel grand. You will no way. You know, we have done the crisis, inferior complex crisis, right? We have, right? So we have identity crisis. We have another one is what? Inferior complex. We have that, yeah? Why do you have it? Why do you think you have it? Why do you think you have it? It's because of lineage. Simply lineage. Because when you go back to lineage, you realize you're not a one-man show. Behind you there could be hundreds of people. Behind you there could be thousands of people in your tribe. So you are more powerful than you think you are. You have more influence than you think you are. You know, like when you go to I don't know if you've been back home. Like for example, in my tribe, I have at least thousands of people. Yeah, thousands. My tribe. So when I'm walking in a village and I'm going to, say, a market, and I'm walking, I don't have to be scared so-and-so will kidnap you, or so-and-so will try to kill me, or so-and-so will mug me, or so-and-so will take advantage of me. Because, why? Because I've got 1,000 people behind me. And they all know he's so-and-so's son, he's so-and-so's grandson, he's so-and-so's what? Nephew. If something happens to him, khalas, all of these people will gang up and boom, finish. So this gives you a power more than the building. So the building doesn't enclose you. You become greater than the building in of itself. The road doesn't enclose you. You become greater than the road. The land, be it the agricultural land or be it the authority land, you become greater than them. You feel greater than them by default. So when you come to this university, do you feel the university is greater than you, or do you feel you are the greater than the university? Which one? You all feel the university is greater than you. Why? Because you don't own the university, it's simple as that. But if your father owned this university, how would your psychology be? You'll walk around this way, you'll walk around that way, you'll make noise. You'll not care. Why? My father owns this university. You see? That's how the reality is. So when you have that lineage behind you, you don't care about the road or the market or this shop guy or that shop guy. Similarly, when you come back to UK, you know somewhere in that land, you have a tribe to fall back to. You have people that you can fall back to. You have influence. You have greater power than one man or one sister or one male, one engineer. You have many other engineers. You have many other doctors in your tribe, I'm sure. You have many other lawyers. You have many other leaders. You have many other pious men and women back in your land, I'm sure. Part of your family, part of your lineage, part of your blood. That will empower you. And then you will not feel inferior. Most of the time, if you be a true Muslim, you'll feel superior. No doubt about it, guaranteed. It doesn't matter. You know, I define words sort of differently. And if you listen to my lectures, I always define words. I don't like the word practicing. Why? If anyone has listened to the podcast of Ibn Battuta's boat, anyone heard it? Can you raise your hands? 1, 2 people, 3, 4, 5 people heard it. Okay, listen to the first episode. It's my episode. That's what I'm saying. First episode is Ibn Battuta's boat. Is my episode, right? Where I talk about making the Iman and Tawheed and Ibadah and Islam tangible. I talk about that. It's not a theoretical word, abstract word. You live in this space, and when you want to, you pluck it out and class, you put out the dress on. And when you don't want to, you could take the dress off and put it back inside the realm of abstract. La. I talk about that in detail in Ibn Battuta's book. One of the things I say is I don't like the word practicing. Why? Because then you categorize yourself to be practicing because you've got a hijab on, or because you've got niqab on, or because you've got a long beard, or because you've got a thobe, or because you've got in classes. But in reality, Islam doesn't treat practicing that way. Everyone, as I say, everyone at the level they are practicing. But the levels differ. But everyone at the level are practicing. So the one who's wearing a hijab and the one who's not wearing the hijab, right, in my eyes, or Islam eyes, the one who's not wearing the hijab could be more better and higher and loftier than the one who is wearing the hijab. That's reality. So then you defining someone more practicing simply by wearing the hijab is wrong. It's wrong understanding, it's wrong perception. Allah doesn't even say that. That's why it's important. What we say is your mother, if she's not wearing a hijab, she may not be praying now. Or your grandmother, or your uncles, or your aunties, they may not be practicing in your eyes now. But you might be more worse than them in reality in the sight of Allah. Sooner or later, they may become better than you, and that can be expressed and showed sooner or later. So never judge people by the outer, what they are showing now. Judge them by this. I say this again. Judge them by their character, not by the dini aspects of way of living. I said that one more time. Judge them by their character and not by the dini aspects of their way of living. Why is that? Because the dini aspects of way of living is relative. It's relative until and unless it becomes consistent and manifest upon others. It's relative. As for character, it's universal. It's who they are. All they have to do is then make the deen part of their living and they become perfect. So if they have empathy, if they have sympathy, if they can sacrifice, if they're selfless, they're amazing people. They're practicing. They are practicing. I'll give you an example. The woman who entered Jannah, by giving water to the dog. You all know the Sahih Hadith, right? It's all authentic, right? It's not da'if or anything like this. Okay, dialogue with me. Was she practicing? Dialogue. Was she practicing? Huh? What aspects? Yeah. Her practice was that in her, she had the character of what? Selflessness, sacrifice, empathy, sympathy, not cruelty. These are great human, Muslim, Islam, Imani characteristics embedded within a person. Someone could have niqab on, a long beard up to the knees, no problem, but they could be the cruelest people upon the surface of the earth. That could be kufr. Another woman entered into Jannah. You know what that means, entered into Jannah? Some of the people who explained the hadith, they said that Allah gave that woman there and there death. And then Allah took that woman there and then put her into a Jannah. And then the angels, some of the scholars said that even the angels said, what about the dog? Jalla wa ala then took the dog and put that into Jannah. Some of the people said this. That may not be authentic, But the point is that it showed that Allah Jalla wa Ala loved the character of selflessness. On the other side, the cruelty, the Sahih Hadith, a woman entered into Jahannam. Again, a woman. A woman entered into Jahannam because why? She did not give the cat what? Grazing field to go out and eat and drink from by its own will. She imprisoned him in a cage and it died. Allah Jalla wa Ala was so angry, Jalla wa Ala gave her death straight to her and put her into a Jahannam. These are hadith, authentic hadiths in Bukhari and Muslim. Okay? What was she doing? She was not practicing. She was not practicing what? Salah, Siyam, Zakah, Hajj. La, she was being cruel to a cat. So, change your mindsets. Don't label people just because they're wearing hijab or niqab or they have beard or they have thobe or they go to classes. That's not the label of Islam. Label of Islam first and foremost character. Then deen. Sallallahu said, when someone comes to you in marriage, good in what? First is what? Character. 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 Because that defines who they are. First of all, it's a solid mountain they have inside them. No one can change it because it's who they are. Deen you can change. One day you're up, one day you're down, one day you're bottom dead. Character, you always have your character. So work on your character. And if again, I'm gonna advertise myself. Listen to my online portal, Tarbiyah of the Fitra and the Man. All I talk about is character. Character, because that builds your substance. Otherwise you're fake. Otherwise you're fake. And that's why I will always say this. Go back, you will see better than you in your grandmother or in your auntie or in your uncle or your cousin brother. You will see someone like you and better than you. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee you even, like I can say to you, go back home and prove me wrong by not finding anyone better than you. Prove me wrong, not finding anyone better than you. Unless you're some Mehdi or something. Yeah, I don't think you'll find someone better than you when you go back home. Even when I went back home, I found some of my family relatives, mashallah, tabarakallah, from the sister side and from the men's side, they were greater than me. Not necessarily maybe in data knowledge. I may have more data knowledge. I may be able to quote you references, Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmidhi, all of that. That's useless if I don't have the character. But their character was much better than myself. They had more patience than me. They had more sacrifice than me. They were more helpful than me. They were more on time than me. They were waking up more earlier than me. They were praying tahajjud more better than me. They were making dua, begging Allah more better than myself. I'm nowhere close to them. Yeah.
Where do you draw the line between judging what's apparent and not judging something? Judging by character. Where's that line?
The line is after you know the character. The line is after you know the character. You cannot judge people unless you know the character. That's number one. So the second judge is the ma'a'il. You have to know the intentions of why they're doing these things. Yeah? A lot of times, this is a big problem. A lot of times people, for example, say so-and-so is doing this or so-and-so has done this. But no one asks the question, what? Why? Whenever the crime is committed, what do? They ask the why. They ask the what? The why. Yeah, they ask why. Why? Who obviously, you have to find who did it. But then they ask the why. They ask for the motive. Because then the motive dictates it from a hate crime to a terrorist crime. Yeah? The motive. The motive dictates if it was a suicide or if it was whatever. It was the motive. Yeah? So, you have to look at the whys. And if you don't know the character, and if you don't know the whys, I say straight away, shut up. Don't speak. It's like, for example, myself. If a person didn't know me, and they spoke about me, and they judged me, okay, suppose, for example, today, I did not come like this, just like this. I came with trousers and shirt. How do you judge me? Huh? Honestly, how do you judge me? You not call me Shaykh, will you? Shaykh will not even come out from your mouth. Why? Because, whoa, what happened to him? That's the first thing come in your mind. But you see, me will never change. Just because I'm wearing the shirt and trousers, who I am is not going to change. My character will not change. I may have a reason of wearing the shirt and trousers, you see. That's what we don't think about. That's our first know the character of the person. I know so many brothers and so many sisters, because of my years of counseling of people, the greatest of people I've seen, you might think that's not correct, but personally, the greatest people I've seen are people who always had a great character from day one. Irrespective of whether they were what? Practicing or not. Irrespective. The greatest people I've met throughout my life are the people who had greatest character. The greatest people who influenced myself or any other great people out there, they had the most influence of greatness and nobility is because of the character. Not of the issue of dini practicing, because that's all relative. That's all relative. And second, as I said, look at the ma'ai, look at the end. What are they wanting? What are they yearning? So for example, if a sister is not wearing hijab, or not wearing niqab, or a brother not going to classes, find out the whys. And usually the whys will tell you the real reason, and then you will appreciate them. Then you will appreciate them. And then you will know the true person. Get to know the real person inside. Allow others to know you and know you inside. And then also, yourself give yourself the time to also know them. Know them. They're inside. Then you will know the real person. Then if you're a teacher, you can teach them. If you're a mentor, you can mentor them. If you're a coach, you can coach them. If you're a friend, you can be a companion with them. You can be a real friend person. For example, if you are in need of something, who will you call now? You will call your real friend, the friend who really loves you, cares for you, and who can help you. Yeah? Why? Because they know you and you know them. That's it. They know your character and you know their character. That's it. That's why they're your real friend. Yeah. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, know your character, know the character, and know the whys. Why they're doing this? Why they're doing that?
How would one remain diplomatic with in-laws who have high or unrealistic?
I said to make that a topic. Yeah, I was about to give that talk today, but they changed it. So make another topic. That's a huge topic. I'll get shoes thrown out. You know. So that's a huge topic. I have to cover as a topic. So make another topic, and we'll cover inshallah in detail. Yeah. But that, just let you brothers know and sisters know. But no one likes when I talk about that topic. No one likes it, because I'll say the bitter truth, and I'll give the bitter solutions also. I give the bitter solutions. No one likes it though, and they all gun me down. But I dialogue with them, and I talk to them and put them into the reality of society and social living. Yes. Question. Time out. Bismillah.
So with regards to identity crisis, we've talked about our lineage. What about the other part, which is our British, what we've adopted from the British?
You don't have a problem with that, do you? I don't see you have any problem with it. You guys are living, mashallah, tabarakallah life. PFCs and... yeah? So I don't see any problem with that. All I see, where you're having the real problem is what I spoke about. I think once that is fixed, that is rectified, I personally believe with the Islamic mentoring, not knowledge. I don't say knowledge. You don't need Islamic knowledge. What you need is Islamic what? Mentoring. It's my word, by the way. Yeah. You need Islamic mentoring. Yeah. Most of you have more knowledge than me. You may even be able to quote Tirmidhi and Bukhari more than me, right? But what you don't have, what you lack is mentoring. Someone to gradually mentor your subconscious. Someone to, and I'm not saying, Sufi stuff here. You might think, oh, you have to take, what do you call them, peers. No, I'm not talking about peers. What I'm talking about is going to classes, but you subconsciously take the teacher as your mentor. So you don't just go to his class or her class and you simply just go there and write the notes down and pass the exams and go home. La, after his class or her class, you socialize with them. If you're sisters, you ask them questions, you engage with them. You make appointments with them, you take your mahrams with, and then go and talk to him or her about your family problems, about your problems. And he or she gradually develops you, mentors you, coaches you, directs you. That's how you then gradually grow your character, self-develop yourselves, and then grow. Because our teenage years and before marriage and even after marriage a bit, you don't know yourselves. You still try to find who you really are. And that's when you need someone to mentor you, someone you trust, someone who's wise and smart, someone who's pragmatic and realistic and practical, not theoretical. Avoid the theoretical people. Someone who's practical, pragmatic, realistic, right? You need this kind of people. If they can mentor you, you'll come out, subhanallah, inshallah, you as Muslim will come out as great, noble people. I think one question left there. Let's finish this one.
So how would you go about addressing the issue of when family they might impose cultural beliefs on you, thinking that it's a religious belief, and when they have that confusion.
Okay, whatever you do, don't teach your parents or don't teach your seniors or elders with words. Teach them through your character first, then your, not actions, then your ibadat, not actions. I'm very specific. I said it again. You show them through your character, and then your worships, not actions. Actions can be any actions. Worships. We don't show the worship. Well, I'm praying Tahajjud, Mom. It becomes your second nature. What happens then? The heart moves. Then dua. Third, you make dua for them. If you know certainly they're wrong on that specific thing, then you make dua for them. I can guarantee you, I haven't seen any parents who are true Muslim that they did not come to the true Islam, the true understanding of Islam, if those three was followed. I haven't seen anyone that came back and said, you know what, it didn't work. Tabligh is changed if you're against Tabligh. Salaf is changed if you're against Salafis. Hizb al-Tahrir is changed if you're against Hizb al-Tahriri. Changed. Through du'as, character, and ibadah.